Alright guys, I'm ready to go. I got a slightly wrinkled shirt and we got more sales. So let's get started on this What's Sold for the Week video. First sale is this Ducks Unlimited hat. Sold for $6. Paid $2 on it, so not a lot of money there, but some money to be made. Next up, another item pulled from the house because I'm too lazy to properly store it, is this Columbia fishing shirt. Now some of you might be thinking, Columbia fishing shirt doesn't really have that much value, but surprisingly I was able to sell it for 15. How did that happen? And it sold pretty quickly? What's going on here? You got some viewer sales? Well, you guys know as much as I do that I have not that many viewers, let alone people that are buying from me right now. In the future, of course, but for now, So, little trick here that most of you probably know, but I'm going to pretend that you don't know, is that if you look very closely, I know my poor camera quality. Actually, I'll pretend that you can see it. Right there, maybe? We got a 4X shirt, guys. Those shirts have a better sell-through percentage than your normal standard sizes. Big boys need their shirts too, all right? Now, the 4X, pretty big. 3X is also good. And the bigger sizes can be the difference between a particular shirt being worth getting or being worth putting back. And while the amount of shirts is less, the percentage is there. So eventually it will sell. It might take a little longer because kind of like what we mentioned in a prior video where, yes, 200 sold, 200 listed, great. 200 sold within 90 days though. So at max, you're looking at like what? 2 shirts a day that are selling. So not that many are moving, but it will eventually. That's why I bought it. Sold for 15. I'm happy about it. Another item in the filing cabinet. So yeah, it's definitely a tale of two battles in my storage area. I mean, kind of 3 if you count the house, but the house and the filing cabinet kind of have the same thing going for them, where if I pull something from the filing cabinet, if I pull something from the house, that means that it was probably a quick flip, which is great and fantastic. But at the same time, I also would love for sales to be happening over here because this is essentially my stock that's been here a long time. I want to get it out of the way. So, pros and cons to each side. Happy either way. Love making the sale. But, certain days I like to get old inventory moved. Other days I'm excited I made a quick flip to justify the purchase that I made recently. And that's what happened here in this case. So, in this cabinet here is a Samsung power adapter for a monitor. And I bought this for $1. And it sold for $8. So a decent amount of money there. The thing that if you do go into power adapters, please don't, because I'm trying to make it not very competitive, but if you go into cables and start selling power adapters and things like that, something you need to consider is the weight. So a good example was like this, So for this, you'll see listings that will trick you, free shipping or something like that, and it'll be like, oh man, it's $15, $18, I could buy it for $1. Oh, that's awesome, fantastic. But something like this, maybe not this particular one, I'll have to double check, but I would assume that would be the case. But, this, while it doesn't look it, probably weighs a pound, maybe a little bit over. So there's definitely some shipping costs you have to factor into this too. So yeah, $1 into something that sells for $18, everything included, sounds great. It ended up being great, but something to definitely look out for because, I had to end up selling this for, like I said, $8 to factor in that shipping. So something to consider. If it's a small, tiny cable that weighs only 4 or 8 ounces, you're spending $5 or whatever to ship it and it sells for 10, that's the same amount of profit margin as the one that I just mentioned. So you can see the difference there. All right. I do have one sale in a box here. Happy boy. Box K, Box K. I have multiple of these, only one sold, but quantity listings are a great thing. Double bag, extra secure, is a little Apple 30 pin USB adapter. Has a picture of a camera on there. I don't know if you can see it, so bought this in the past for $1, sold it for $3.25. So light item, buyer pays shipping. It's so light I'll probably make like 50 cents just alone on the shipping discount, and then, you know, essentially doubled my money right there. I mean, come on, super easy to list, guys. Super easy to list. Double my money. Good example of a bread and butter item. Let me go ahead and put the other one back so it doesn't get lost. Now, while not the most profitable, another item sold in here, pretty much double my money. Is a Homedics Deep Sleep, kind of like white noise machine. And this sold for $23 and I paid $8 for it. That's another thing I would say too that you want to factor in if you do become a full-time reseller, is try to find one particular niche or whatever you want to call it, where you could be an expert in, not so much in research and what items sell for and things like that, but in items that you can fix up or clean up or do something, you know, to take it to the next level of value. It's good to kind of have something like that in mind. So a good example would be like video game consoles. You know, if a video game console isn't working, I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to get it for the most part. I mean, yeah, I make stupid purchases, but I'm never going and buying a video game console that I know doesn't work. But if I, you know, put my mind to it and had a little space set aside in the shed and made it an effort to essentially have a repair station, you know, that's a whole nother market or whatever that opens up for my business that I could be capitalizing on that, you know, other people aren't. You know, people will see that broken, you know, game console or whatever and just forget about it. Whereas if I was very familiar with repairing it, I would just pick it up, repair it. I know what I'm doing, and resell it. I know there's money there and stuff like that. Same thing with the VCR DVD combos. I sell them for parts and people buy them and people will go and resell it. Well, if I knew how to repair it myself, I could be making that money as opposed to the person buying from me making that money on his end. So that's something to factor in too. Probably the easiest one I would say is if you really know how to like clean up, you know, shoes and things like that, and maybe like, you know, polish leather shoes and stuff, like dress shoes and things like that. That would probably be the easiest one that I can think of, because there's been quite a bit of dress shoes that I've seen, and even those Harley Davidsons that sold last week that I mentioned. You know, I didn't want to clean them up and risk damaging and put them in a worse condition just because I was trying to fix them up. But somebody that knows how to do that could have definitely made more money on those Harley boots that I sold. So something to definitely consider. So you have, you know, particular items that not a lot of people are going for. Like I said, the cables, that's something you can do to help with your sourcing trips. And then the other thing that you can do to help with your sourcing trips is find something that you can have expertise in to improve the item to make it more valuable. And that will kind of differentiate you from the rest of the competition when it comes to sourcing. All right, and here's a group of items bundled up that have sold. All right, we got another item that I pulled from the house. It's this Nebraska Huskers hat. Sold for $9, and I only paid $2. We got another item from the filing cabinet here. I'll edit out that squeak. Tight squeeze there. Okay. All right. Been trying to sell this for a long time, but because of the shape, the shipping cost is really expensive. So eventually I just had to, whittle the price down until someone bought it. So eventually it was sold for $10, bought it for $3. Another filing cabinet sale, which means quick flip, which we always like here. It's a Delta kind of generic power adapter, and this sold for $4. Only paid $1. All right, one more item from the filing cabinet. Really good sale here, surprisingly. So sold this Stairs shoe for $60 and only paid $13. Now this is something that would be nice to hold on to in the business to use, but I decided to go ahead and sell it and make the money. So it's something you just shove in the shoe and it sterilizes it, makes it smell fresh, I guess. All right, and here's the bundle of more things that have sold this week. All right, got a few more sales. Not a great reselling brand, trust me. This took a long time to sell, and this is definitely on my don't buy list. Goodfellow shirt, kind of a plaid style men's shirt button. And this sold for $4. Just getting rid of it at this point. I've had it for like 6 months, just taking up inventory space. Now, quite the polar opposite of that shirt is this shirt. It's an Ash and Erie shirt. And this one was a quick seller. I basically listed it earlier this week and it sold already before the end of the week. And this sold for $19, bought it for $6. And $6 is like the maximum I'm willing to spend on a shirt, because for me, like, around that $18, $20 mark is kind of where I hit. So like at minimum, I want to double my money on shirts, even if they have a really good sell-through rate. Like that Ash and Erie was like 200 listed, 200 sold. Great, fantastic, should be a quick flip. 200 over a 90-day period. All right, 3 a day. All right, should be quick still. But yeah, so doubling my money on that. But I try not to go above $6. Ideally I like to spend, $1, $2, $3 on a t-shirt. But $6, like, it's got to be really something special for me to pull the trigger on buying it. And that one happened to be special. All right, next up is this Hawk & Co. kind of a puffer vest. But the neat thing about it, I don't know if I might be too lazy to post it up, but if you see like one of the pictures here I put in the listing, it's like a packable vest, so it kind of folds down easily for like backpackers and things like that. So it's definitely one of the key features of this. And this also was surprisingly quick, and bought it for $1 and it sold for 10. All right, and here's the batch of items that sold. Now I know my extreme dedicated viewership has already honed in on why I pan over to the bundle of things on the table that have sold. And to inform the rest of you that might not have picked up on this, that's basically what I sold for the day. And whenever I do these what sold videos, it's for the whole week, but obviously I can't hold on to everything and show it to you in one day that's sold for the week, because I got to get it shipped out. So instead what I do is I'll pull the items for the day, show to you on the table what's sold for the day, get those shipped out, get the next thing, and keep it rolling for the whole week. It's definitely an easier way to film these, and for me, for my business, the post office is only a mile down the road, so really quick there and back, not too much gas and everything, not too much time wasted, so I pretty much ship everything out daily. And you guys might notice the background kind of shifting a little bit in this week's video. I'm trying to like tidy it up just a little bit, get things a little more organized. Eventually, of course, this is going to be really nice back here, and in the very back I'll probably end up setting up green screen section to start doing my parody videos. And I wanted to mention this before anyone beats me to it. I'm trying my best. I've been procrastinating forever and ever, but I want this channel, as far as I know, I want this channel to be the first channel that has ever done parody videos for reselling topics and reselling resellers on YouTube. And hopefully I can achieve that. I got great ideas, like you guys all know. The first one is going to be based on NC Picker, kind of like the Trash to Cash podcast people. So I'm really looking forward to that. I got a great idea, just got to write the script, got to start, putting pen to paper, and start filming it and get it out there to try to be the first one. Another idea that I've had too is, like, lately there's been kind of a few videos of the YouTubers that I watch have been talking about Whatnot, American Arbitrage, Prison to Profit, people like that. And in my head, I came up with an idea. I mean, I know eBay's going to eventually have a proper one that they're going to make, but in my head, I was thinking, wouldn't it be an interesting idea if you had listings on eBay that were auctioned and you set them at a certain time, like say that they're 5 minutes apart, maybe a little less, like 3 minutes apart or something like that, and you just did a live stream on YouTube, and you just, everyone that was watching, just tell them like, hey, have a tab open up on eBay and go with me and go to all these different auctions that are going off on my website, and we'll kind of talk and have fun while surfing eBay on my store and everything with these auctions that are going off every time. Less setup, you don't have to structure anything live. Everything's already going to set up through the auction structure. That part's already done. You can focus on the production of the video instead.